By the late 1970s, disco provided a vital social anchor for Black, Latine, and queer youth. However, a growing mainstream backlash began targeting both the music and the people who gathered to hear it. This hostility culminated in a 1979 riot at Chicago's Comiskey Pack. During a White Sox doubleheader, thousands of rock fans swarmed the field in an event fueled by a racist and homophobic rejection of the disco scene. The organizers detonated a crate of disco records in center field, creating a literal and symbolic explosion intended to mark the death of the genre. This public destruction pushed the music into hidden industrial spaces. Without access to mainstream venues, the community was forced to build an entirely independent environment for their culture to survive. One such space was the Warehouse, a gritty South Side building where marginalized youth found the freedom to dance and congregate without fear of the outside world. The attempt to kill disco simply drove the culture underground, where it condensed into a raw, rhythmic form, house music. Inside these dark booths, DJs like Frankie Knuckles and Ron Hardy began stripping the records down to their barest rhythmic essentials. They replaced live instrumentalists with electronic drum machines like the Roland TR-808. The result was a heavy, synthetic pulse designed specifically to resonate within concrete walls. DJs pushed the tempo higher, focusing on the relentless kick drum of the TR-909. These machines allowed for a faster, more aggressive sound than traditional disco ever permitted. Producers like Jesse Saunders used reel-to-reel tape decks to physically chop and loop these rhythms. By splicing the tape, they created hypnotic, repetitive patterns that could sustain a dance floor for hours. The combination of electronic production and the acoustics of the Warehouse created a sound that functioned as a deliberate sanctuary for Black joy. The rhythm eventually moved east, following a direct line from Chicago to Newark, New Jersey. Newark was an industrial city with a gritty landscape that mirrored the south side of Chicago, but it possessed its own deep-seated heritage of soul and gospel music. Club Zanzibar became the incubator for this migration. Located inside a motel complex, it served as a laboratory where the Midwestern sound began to take on a local character. Brilliant Newark DJs took the metallic Chicago loops and injected them with the deep emotional DNA of the Black church. This Jersey sound incorporated soaring gospel vocals, soulful chord progressions, and swinging Latin percussion, creating a more melodic variation of the genre. By layering electronic beats with spiritual vocals, Newark DJs transformed the club floor into a congregation. Tony Humphries, resident DJ at Club Zanzibar, became responsible for popularizing this mutation across the region. He moved the music out of the nightclub and onto the public airwaves through WRKS 98.7 KISS FM. This broadcast linked a fragmented network of local DJs and clubs across New Jersey, turning a hidden subculture into an organized statewide movement. By hijacking the radio signal, house music transitioned from an underground secret into an interconnected institution. In the mid-1980s, the lineage of Chicago house moved across the desert, entering a landscape that was culturally and geographically isolated from its origins. At the time, Las Vegas was defined by neon spectacle and traditional lounge acts. It lacked an underground heartbeat until the rhythm was physically carried into the valley. That connection was made by Rory McAlister, the son of a Chicago R&B legend, who brought the Midwestern rhythmic pulse to the Nevada desert. In 1984, he broke the underground sound onto the Las Vegas airwaves on KCEP 88.1 FM. McAlister established record systems and mentorship programs that trained a new generation of local selectors, building the permanent infrastructure needed to sustain a scene in the desert. These efforts ensured that house music became a permanent subculture in a city otherwise built on temporary distractions. This geographical pipeline, the drums of Chicago, the soul of Newark, and the infrastructure of Las Vegas, forms the backbone of the modern electronic sound. This American framework eventually leaped across oceans, adapting into countless subgenres from the club scenes of Berlin to the festivals of Tokyo. This global dominance originated from marginalized youths fleeing the violent public rejection of their culture in 1979. The rhythm provided the framework for a subculture that sustained itself through riots, radio hijacks, and the construction of its own independent infrastructure. When mainstream America tried to demolish their culture, these creators built a groove that became the heartbeat of the world.